cap it off, but then to run a D&D one shot on my birthday, and
Hey.
it was a solid weekend. And now rolling into a 5-day weekend. The vibes keep rolling, as we say.
We go from the birth of the great Justin to the birth of America. So, the party doesn't end here for you, Justin. The party doesn't end here.
Oh no, it never does.
What's the beer choice this weekend, man?
Uh,
You go
that's a good.
craft, or you go something a little more bigger, a little
I
more.
mean, it depends. I will be going down to Atlanta actually.
Hey,
For the game, staying with my good friends, Dane and Silky, and
that's
so
you.
we'll see. I don't know. I'll be sure. I'm sure I'll have some pics of the tailgate. I have heard that Atlanta moved their tailgates out from the Gulch, which was a little disappointing, but
Oh,
um, I'll be sure to have some pictures from down there.
dude, it is still a fun experience. Obviously we'll talk about it a little bit later in the pod, the experience down in Atlanta these days. But dude, that sounds like a lot of fun, man. Over here, I feel like I'm all got. Dude, I'm on. So right now, Justin, this is gonna sound extremely weird, and this is why I talk about it here on the Dupe by the River podcast. I'm on my bone broth kick, dude. I'm not kidding. I'm drinking chicken broth, bone broth with cayenne pepper. That's where I'm at in life, Justin. So I'm jealous.
That you're not like the first person I've heard say that, and it still never ceases to be weird to me.
It's
Like,
weird because I feel like I'm drinking soup.
like,
Um,
hey, you do you, man.
I
Like
feel
listen, if I'm gonna have broth, I'm gonna at least have like matzo ball soup. I'm gonna at least have a little something in it. You know what I mean? The
babe, we got some ramen noodles.
Jewish penicillin, as we call it.
That's what we do here. We're just a bunch of weirdos, but we're lovable weirdos. That's the important part here on Dupe by the River. But Justin, speaking of lovable weirdos, I want to give some love and a shout out to friend of the pod. We need to get him on the pod, Jose El Brujo Martinez, all-star nod, first of his career, and shortly after his first goal, which is probably one of the best in MLS history. So I want to start off by that. I think we need to celebrate that. He's a fan favorite. If you guys have followed his story, it's fucking amazing to see him at this point now. He's going to go up against Arsenal. I mean, I don't care who's playing for Arsenal. Still pretty cool. So I'm really proud of that. Obviously, Justin, no Glesnes, no Elliott, no Wagner, no Blake, no Gazik, no Carranza. None of those guys got the vote in. That was a bit of the controversy there, and I feel like that took over what was something that should be celebrated for Brujo. But for you, what are your thoughts on just the voting in general for the All-Star game in general? Like anything about it, man.
I mean, listen. Part of the voting is the fan media. Part of it is the coaches' picks, which Brujo was one, and the commissioners' picks. I think like I can understand Roman Berkey. He's having an absolutely phenomenal season for St. Louis, and St. Louis is absolutely a darling. Petrovic, like I get it. I get it. He's a good goalie, and like listen, the caveat is like, okay, fucking Tyler Miller really over Andre. And it's like, well, Tyler Miller is a coach's choice, which I no matter what still like annoys the shit out of me. Like Wayne, like come on, like you have Christian Benteke up top. Like you don't need more than one player, and like fucking Tyler Miller, dude got a chip from midfield because he fucking thinks he's Manuel Neuer.
He's the definition of inconsistent. Tyler Miller, like his picture is next to inconsistent in dictionary. There are
Oh,
moments where he does look good, but then yeah, like you just talked about the midfield howler, man.
um, I wasn't too surprised about defense. Looking at who was nominated, it's still a pretty solid defense. I, in the midfield, I mean, listen, Brujo, you could have gone Brujo and Gosdog. I think Gosdog, people seem to be skipping over him. Like he's still having a pretty damn good season. The one name that got thrown in as a very big question mark was Ricky Pooch. And I can understand the question mark because the Galaxy are dog shit this year. And like if Chicharito was healthy, Ricky Pooch would not have been the the only Galaxy player, or it probably would have been would have been Chicharito instead of Ricky Pooch.
He's only here because of the U.S. Open Cup celebration. That's it, Justin.
Yeah, like I legit do not understand it. And then up top, Carranza with 10 goals and 3 assists on the seat. Like he's
That's
having
the one for me.
An insane season right now. And he gets passed over. Like I get it. Bouanga's having a good year. Christian Espinoza, I'm glad he made it. I think he's been flying under the radar. Christian Benteke, I get it. He's having a decent season. He's a coach's pick. But, like, you're telling me that there was no room at any point. And like, I think it's the same shit every year. I'm sometimes amazed at what the fans vote. And, the other midfield pick, and I know he's the commissioner's pick, but Mateusz Chonier. And I'm sure Eve would probably have something similar to say of like good for him, but also like what? Like why? Like it just does not make a lot of sense. And I get it. It's a commissioner's pick. He's allowed to do that. Like, but it makes and Kai Kamara. I love Kai. But over Carranza, like the only reason that Kai Kamara gets in is because he's an MLS legend and he's, the second, third in all-time goals. Like, he's not having that good of a year. And like you look at, like, I'm genuinely surprised. Like every year, there's always that player, that like quote unquote celebrity player that gets in when they're not having a great year. And I legitimately thought Insigne was going to be that player that gets in on the name caliber alone.
That is so annoying. Though. I get we want to see stars, but dude, put the best players out there who deserve it.
Yeah, to me, I just don't. I don't get some of like in the midfield, like Hector Herrera was a coach's choice, and Hector Herrera, admittedly, is having a pretty dang good year for a Houston side that's flying a bit more under the radar. Like you look at the forwards, you have Christian Benteke, coach's pick. I get it. He's having a decent season. Bouanga is having an insane year. Like, no question. Christian Espinoza, I'm glad he got the choice. Like I said, I think he's a player that is flying under the radar. Jesus Ferreira,
that's your boy.
Yeah, everyone knows my like Julian Carranza has 10 goals, and how the fuck is he like?
No, this is the one for me, Justin. This is the one for me. No disrespect, he's having a good season too, but like, again, are we going like let's go a little seniority then as well if we're going with names, and then let's also go a little seniority.
Yeah, like if you're gonna go like like where Carranza has like at least a year, so like where I get it, he comes in, but like. You're telling me between Giacomakis and Kamara that Carranza didn't deserve it over either of them, and Kai Kamara's a commissioner's pick, and it's like, yeah, again, like come on,
Jordan Morris too.
Jordan. I have a lot of feelings on Jordan Morris.
Make a whole pot for this one, man.
Yeah, Jordan Morris is that's one I can't. But like the midfield, yeah, Luciano Costa, having an absolutely insane year. There's no question
for sure.
Almada, yeah, like dude scoring bangers every other week at this point.
World Cup definitely helps as well.
Yeah, like again, this Mateusz Chonier, I don't get it. Like 5 goal contributions.
This is the commissioner pick that makes it even weirder.
That's the weirder thing. It legitimately makes no sense. Hector Herrera, again, I get it. Like he's having a solid season. El Brujo having a pretty good season. Aiden Morris voted in. That one was odd.
Interesting. He's consistent, but not like to that level.
Yeah, I think like that has to have been a push by Columbus fans. I don't understand. And of course, Hani Mukhtar. Like
Yeah, he deserves
Hani
it.
Mukhtar's on pace to win back-to-back MVPs. The man's in form. I mean, at this point, he's the only thing basically keeping them
Yeah,
up there. But yeah,
this
like
is funny right
like
here.
Ricky Pooch, coach's pick. Like, really? A goal and 3 assists.
I mean,
Like,
dude,
Lucas all around, I get it.
dude's a baller, man.
He's a baller. Him and Cucho are and then defenders. Barrial,
Forget, is he a left or right?
he's a left back, which frustrates the shit out of me. It's like, hey, you forget about Kai? Yeah, sure.
I mean, I don't, dude. Kai's better.
John Gallagher is having a good year, despite on a very up and down team. I think he has the most goal contributions via defender.
Who's the guy from Man City? Also just got, by the way, not to go off topic.
Oh, I don't.
Like I saw. I thought that was obviously. I mean, you get some from Man City. I thought that was a big move, but
Hollingshead. I don't get it.
yeah, and not an all-star. Not good player, not all-star.
Matt Miazga having a good year. Like there's no doubt about that. Tim Parker,
Man.
again, like one of those things, like with Berkey having a solid season for them. John Tolkien, yeah, like he's a solid left back, but
Real quick, is St. Louis just like this really strong defensive squad, and then they just create goals off of that?
I think basically like Berkey is been wall in the back, and they haven't conceded a ton of goals.
Okay, that definitely helps, man. That's what I always say. Just what I always say. We're building a team. Start with defense. But hey, who am I? Walker Zimmerman. I mean, yeah.
That's not a surprise.
Berkey, Miller. Yeah, the Miller one I'll never get that.
The Miller one I legitimately don't get.
And
Petrovic,
yeah, man.
Okay, I get it, but like,
I guess Wayne because we're in DC.
Oh yeah, I'm sure next year because it's supposed to be announced for Columbus. I'm sure Wilfred Nancy will be the.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it is kind of what it is, but again, like, dude, we always get disrespected. We get disrespected by referees. We get disrespected by the league as a whole. So, what I really do expect is I hope that these guys take this, keep the chip on their shoulder, and then ball out here this week against Atlanta. Take it
as Michael Jordan says, I saw that and I took it personally.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah. All right. I want to get into Miami. But I do want to get your thoughts real quick because it made official today. Leo Messi's got his coach, Tata Martino, comes back to MLS. The reunion of Josef and Tata for now. We'll see. But as I said on Twitter, curtain over Tata. Anyways, but your thoughts, man. Tata back in the league, brother.
Yeah, I think Miami, once they kind of realize that Neville was in the hot seat, you needed a coach that has experience with the league, but also could handle Messi. And I know the preference would typically in Argentine, at least from Messi's point of view. Listen, I mean, Tata has experience with the league. You know,
dude, they had Javier Morales though.
Yeah, but I don't know what the hell's going on right there. But I think you look at the way like Tata has managed him with Barcelona, has managed him with the Argentinian national team, and he has league experience. I think that's the biggest thing because we talk about it every year. You know, when there's a foreign coach coming in who either doesn't take the league seriously or doesn't know what to expect with the league. MLS between travel, between the home, like there's a lot of things that make this league different. Like coaching in the Premier League, yeah, there's pressure, but traveling from Liverpool to Manchester isn't the same as going from New England to San Jose. Like that's an adventure. And now because of the way the travel has been forced to because of the CBA negotiations, they actually can get decent, transport to and from the gate, which
Remember those
talk
alley
about-
pictures, man?
That's the thing. Yeah, like it took
Oh,
the fucking
God.
pandemic for this shit to finally happen for the players. But I think this was kind of the best scenario you were to get for Miami. Now, I think even if you're Tata, the goal is to try to climb your way up. But the way the East is, even with 9 teams making the playoffs this year, I just don't see how they can pick themselves out of their hole if Messi's first game in the league isn't probably until August.
Dude, I just think that if they're going to go into this thinking like, it's MLS, we'll be fine, we'll put a team that's good enough. I mean, they're going to be for rude awakening because we've seen it before. I mean, even like the Beckham, Donovan, like that didn't start off pretty.
That started off terribly.
It took a little bit. So I already can see now, Justin, like this, like the pressure's on in Miami. Like they got to win like right effing now. And if they miss the playoffs this year, you're already going to see it on SportsCenter. Miami misses the playoffs. Like we saw it coming. Because this is really a tall task that they have in front of them. But it's going to be a shit show throughout the world. Sky News, Messi, and Miami missing playoffs. Like it's gonna be a shit show. But the shit show that was Miami on Saturday, a 4-1 victory here for our boys in blue. And honestly, like, yeah, Miami just flat out did not have a chance in this one. The starting lineup for the boys in blue, obviously keep in mind international break or missing pieces. 4-4-2 Diamond again back in place. Bendick back in goal. Your back line, Wagner, Elliot Glasses, and Bizo. Your Diamond midfield consists of Flock at the left, Martinez at the 6, Bedoya at the right, Gazek at the 10. Your typical Diamond with Carranza and Ure at the top of at your 2 forwards. Jakob Glazis off the corner to start things off in the 14th minute, kept Miami sleeping. Julian Carranza in the 39th minute would get his goal, just rubbing the salt in the wound for Inter Miami with that one. Leon Flock with his first goal of the season in the 4th minute of injury time in the first half. And then thank you to David Ruiz for the own goal in the 60th minute. Robert Taylor did get a goal in the 50th here for Miami. But honestly, Justin, watching this match, Philly didn't have to do anything crazy. They forced Miami into those chances and they capitalize. And again, this is what good teams do. You take care of business, especially at home. And Miami just flat out didn't have a chance. I felt bad for Drake Callender, if I'm being honest with you. But no, another dominating performance here by our boys in blue, Justin.
Yeah, listen, this was, and this is the main reason.
By the way, I did call that score, Justin.
You absolutely did, and I think this was one where, let's be honest, there was a lot of reasons why I felt comfortable not missing out on this game. It's just like I said this. Miami is not good right now, and I watched back the highlights, on the first goal. I mean, like, what else is there? Jakob Glesnes is and ironically, this is the first time we'll talk about David Ruiz. I felt bad for the kid because he, from the start, like he was tasked to mark Glesnes. Glesnes looked at him and instantly got the inside advantage. And Kai probably saw that because it was at least a good run up before he kicked it. And it was an easy header. Like Drake Calendar's looking at his defense, like, what the hell are you guys doing? On the second goal,
they've been struggling with all Inter Miami, that is, all season long with the set pieces.
On the second goal, the one thing you don't let the ball do in the back is bounce. If this is a defender, attack it in the air. Do not let that bounce, because as soon as that bounced, he had no shot. And Uwa just has to like take one touch, and Carranza is able to set himself onside, and it's a quick bang pass, and that's the second goal. The third one, Gazdag, the cross tries to come in from Bizo. Gazdag flicks it on. Ali kind of just pokes it, and Leon just with basically what Brujo did and slaps the shit out of that ball. And Calendar had no shot in the slightest on that one. And that's 3-0 going into the half. Like, you were basically on cruise control. And
Match taken care of, man.
yeah, like Robin Taylor gets that goal. It was a double deflection. I think otherwise Bendick probably can see it, and I think it might curl just wide. That's 3-1. The Union are still pressing, and an own goal of a listen. I think that was getting through regardless. So Ruiz kind of just, unfortunately, it's the second time he is at fault, and it just pokes that thing up and over Calendar up the other crossbar, and that's 4-1, and that's all she wrote at that point. And like looking at the game, like I said this, there really was no focus, really no focus on this game, and it was really the focus would be on Atlanta. And I know you, like you said, it was a trap game. You didn't want to look ahead, but clearly. To put into the D&D terms for some of my friends who claim I don't do enough D&D references on this podcast. The Union rolled a natural 20 on their investigation check for traps, and they figured it out and were easily able to avoid the hangups that plagued them early on in the season. I think this Miami team is far cry from what they were to start the season, and the Union are absolutely rolling right now. And I think at this point, the Union clicking, like even without listen, I know Joe Biden hasn't had to do much, but the defense has been just as solid. The Union are clicking. Like as Jim said, this wasn't even their best game, and they still looked decent. Like, I'd be afraid, and this is what we said last year, like I'd be afraid what happens when this team turns it up to 11. Like that's the thing. Yeah, okay, they had a slow-ish start to the year. But as I kept seeing on finally the MLSsoccer.com, people are finally saying give respect. They're basically like the Union were holding their own when their schedule was congested, and now that their schedule is not congested, I would watch. Like, it's scary. Like, watch out, because if they get going, they will get going, and they've been going and going and going. And at this point, it's tough to look at a team in the East outside of like at home. Like, at this point, the way you're playing, you're gonna get at least a home game. I still think Cincinnati is, like, if they slip from one, I think they're going to have a tough time going on the road. Yeah, okay, they're missing a bunch of people, but say Vasquez gets hurt, that DC game absolutely shows that their offense is very thin and has no depth. Nashville is still a very defensive team. They're still looking for a forward. New England is putting results together, but I still think they're not really that full. So, like, the top, I would say, at least at the moment, 2 through 4 is kind of up for grabs for the Union. And the way that they're playing, there's no reason they can't at least get back to second. And we'll see. I mean, they're only 2 points off a second, and they're starting to slowly really play their way into the East. And they still have, and the schedule kind of eases out.
Yeah.
With as Leagues Cup, listen, and if they don't advance in Leagues Cup, it still gives them a bit more of a break, so that they have to, like, again, they have plenty of time to really get into the swing of things.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We always talk about it. Summer months is when they typically get hot. It's trending in the same direction again as last year. So goals galore. Defense keeps getting stout, man. And Subaru Park, it's tough to get points there. It is definitely tough to get points there.
As the weather is, it's feeling hot.
Absolutely, man. Just Miami just look defeated, man. Like, I just look at Josef Martinez. Like, he just doesn't, like, it's tough too, Justin. Like, you're sitting here, you're playing for this team, right? you know that you may not be part of the future plans. They're trying to put together a team that may not include you. And it's like it's tough to stay focused there. And Javier Morales doesn't even know like what to put as a game plan. So it is definitely tough. But the Union definitely took advantage. One thing I'm a little concerned about though, Justin, this team looks so much better when Allie's in there. Like it is clearly evident. You saw those 30 minutes in Orlando. You saw Saturday, and obviously, like everyone looks good against Miami. But in general, like I just feel like the energy, especially in attack, is different. It's since Allie's been out, you've been finding ways to be successful with the 3-back set. You're able to put your best 11 out there without Allie, and so now with the diamond, with Allie in there, it's a force again. So going forward, obviously we know Allie is have injury history. We also know Allie is not going to play forever. So again, we're going back to that discussion of planning past Allie's playing days.
I think it's definitely something where it's why you're starting to give more people more time and seeing what the formation can be like. I think your formation has looked solid when you've had Jack McGlynn and Leon. I think obviously it looks different. I think it's tough to replace what. It's more that it's tough to replace the Allie's leadership more than anything. I think the contributions on offense have kind of waned over the years, and I think that's why you're also starting to see like Bueno when you can, and you're starting to see a lot more of changing formations because like a 3-5-2 can mitigate Allie's the role that Allie has, where the 4-4-2 it's kind of Allie is the kind of role is crucial. So I think it's obviously something that the Union I'm sure probably are still thinking of. Like you can't look at that team and go, okay, yeah, what's the point past Allie? But you can also go, they've held their own when he's been hurt, and it's not nearly as bad as it was in prior seasons. So it's still a little bit of a concern, but I think it's lessened over the past few seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I'm thinking to myself now, like, dude, I'm trying to conserve him as much as I can for the playoffs because it's really what I want him, man. Because that energy, we all seen those, pre-match huddles. They get me fired up, man. When I see
run through a fucking brick wall.
Exactly, man. Exactly. All right, Justin. Well, let's move on here. Let's get into our next matchup here. So Union finally are playing on a night that's not Wednesday or Saturday night for MLS regular season. They'll be on Sunday afternoon. We're down in the A, like Justin mentioned. So this week, to help us preview the match against Atlanta United, we got our friend, as always, AJ from Atlanta United Fan TV. He's been doing this since 2017, a dear friend of the podcast, back at it again. And so we're going to bring in AJ, a pre-recorded interview, and he's going to give us insights on Atlanta, get us prepared for Sunday afternoon. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, AJ from Atlanta United Fan TV. All right, Duperas y Duperas, joining us live now on the Dupe by the River guest line in preparation of Sunday's matchup against Atlanta United. Please welcome on in from Atlanta United Fan TV, our dear friend, Senor AJ. AJ, what's going on, brother? Welcome back on in, man. How you been?
Up? I am doing excellent. How are you guys?
Dude, we are fantastic here. It's we're getting a little bit of that smoke again. I don't know if you're getting it down in Georgia, but this is really weird. I'm not used to this, but we're surviving out here, AJ.
Oh, yeah, no, we aren't getting that, thankfully. And yeah, people in the Northeast, man, they have it rough right now. That's I mean, yeah, when I went to New York a while
Where'd you
ago,
go?
I mean just New York City, but basically, yeah, it's really dirty. It's like always really dirty, right? And it's like I literally blew my nose and it was all black in the yeah, it was really gross actually. But I can't even imagine what's happening now.
Yeah, man, it is absolutely wild what is happening, man. But dude, it's always a pleasure talking to you, man. We obviously just got done doing our preview for our Late Night Fan TV's preview this week. So we're back at it again. But speaking of Late Night Fan TV, I kind of wanted to start off and how you guys been? What's been new with Late Night Fan TV? Obviously, I wanted to get your thoughts as well. Obviously with the whole Vox news that's been going on, over the last year, man. Obviously it's tough for independent, content creators, man. How you been holding up down there?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I mean, we're surviving. I mean, it's we're dipping and diving and adjusting to, all of life's hurdles. But yeah, I think ultimately, it's been a pretty good year so far in terms of for the channel. Yeah, we've been integrating some live streams, some
Nice.
other types of sponsorships that are going to be integrated slowly, which is fun and exciting. Can't wait to roll them out. But yeah, can't complain.
Dude, it's content creation has really changed a lot since like 2018, 2019. I think you started 2018. I more started 2019, but like, live streaming is really the thing. Yeah, 2017.
Yeah.
But live streaming is so huge now. Obviously, Kevincho's killing it right now with the MLS, man. But dude, it is crazy how things have changed in a short amount of time.
Oh, indeed. I mean, it's I think I think we talked about it yesterday too. Kind of the pandemic born out of that, and I think there's it's just made a lot more content creators have to be more agile, which I think that's the sink or swim, survival of the fittest type of mentality that I think probably many of us, whether we have it or don't, have to learn to have it. Yeah.
That is very, very true, man. Let's talk a little bit about your team, because luckily we love soccer. That's why we do this. So let's talk about a little bit about your team, Atlanta United. Fast start. You guys seem pretty hot in the beginning of the year. Looks like y'all were back. The A was back. Slowed down a little bit, man. But kind of what's the difference with this team this year compared to last season's team?
Yeah, I think you have a healthy striker. You have someone that the coach believes in, which super key. I think that talking about Joseph Martinez really, and Joseph Martinez, unfortunately, Gonzalo Pineda, chicken and rice. There's strewn about the locker room. It is what it is. You can't mess with the chicken and rice in Gonzalo Pineda's not locker room. But in terms of the actual roster, the first 11 is a lot stronger. So when we're healthy, we look like world beaters. But if we have one player out of that starting 11, we look dire. We look like probably one of the worst teams in the league. And it just speaks to the lack of depth ultimately. Which is on Carlos Pineda or Carlos Bocanegra rather, and the front office. But there's the rumors of Bocanegra interviewing with the Rangers of the Scottish League. But I think it is ultimately like this team is flawed. We're fool's gold. The level of play when everyone's in can be really good, but it can also, when we have all three Ps, and we don't have all three DPs anymore because Luis Araújo went to Flamengo in Brazil. So we're short again, but the kids have arguably been more hungry. There's been less hero ball, and unfortunately, Thiago Almada, he's been a little bit out of form since he's come back from international duty. So it's a whole slew of things. And on paper, our defense looks decent, but we are one of the leakiest teams in the back. We are tied first for conceded goals, but we are also first in goals scored. So we're just we're that team that is entertainment for the rest of the fans around the league to watch. But for Atlanta United fans, we're not enjoying every minute. It's kind of painful sometimes.
It is weird because I feel like every time we do talk, like Atlanta, it's never like you guys are a bad team. It's just like you guys are like missing just something to get back to where you guys were in the beginning of all this. And so it's fascinating watching this team because like we just said, man, it feels like you guys are close. So I mean, it is crazy. Carlos is still there. Bocanegra is still there. I feel like in most other places, especially like the success Land has had, like Carlos would have been gone by now. But It is interesting. So what is the fan base feeling? Because dude, you guys were loud and proud. I mean, you guys still are, but it's not like that roar isn't the same like a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, there's uneasiness. There is a level of distrust and lack of confidence, I think, in not only the front office but the players that we brought in. There's some players that just aren't cutting it at the moment. Someone that is not like high TAM, but pretty high TAM in Derek Etienne hasn't scored a goal yet. We're past the halfway point, and that's really not good. When he was brought in, we expected at least something close to his 9 goals and 6 assists last year. Nothing so far. We have Luis Araújo, who we shipped out because he had a great preseason and then has pretty much shown himself to be who he is, truly. A lot of Atlanta United fans are really happy to see the back of him. Thiago Almada, we know how good of a player he is, and Yorgos Yakumakis coming in, scoring a lot of goals. He's been, a thorn in a lot of defensive sides, but I think ultimately our midfield is letting us down. Parts of our defense are letting us down. Our goalkeeping core is definitely letting us down. And we have some of the worst shot stopping percentages in the league, even though we don't face that many shots. So it's not even quality shots. We're just that bad at stopping the attack. And so
Father Time's catching up to Brad.
It probably is, as long-standing of a captain he's been for us. It
happens, man.
Yeah, Father Time waits for no one, and it's there, and it's very real. And our window of opportunity, not only with Thiago Almada but Miles Robinson as well, it's closing. And it's something that we've had flawed rosters continually since pretty much 2019, and we haven't been able to kind of restock the coffers. It's pretty much in a nutshell where we're at and why we're at the place that we're at.
Yeah, those teams you guys had, like, obviously, everyone used to always talk about Miggy and Joseph, but there's depth. You guys are really strong defensively. Brad Guzan was at a different level, and that's what really made you guys so dangerous, man. It's like, how do you get back to that? So has the popularity dwindled at all in Atlanta for Atlanta United? Because dude, I still don't forget when I went there, man, and I'm seeing Atlanta United everywhere, dude. That was crazy.
Yeah. It's still pretty everywhere, especially on game day. But I think it has dwindled a good bit. I would say a lot of the casuals fell off.
They still talk on the radio?
They still talk on the radio. But are the fans as passionate? I think you have the hardcore fans that are, but you have the feeling that the casual to kind of medium kind of passionate fans, they're all kind of like, okay, we'll kind of see how this goes. Maybe we'll. This is the thing. We are still packing this house. The Benz is still.
That's the wild part about it.
Yeah, right. Talk about deserve. I don't know, but if we talk about at least, the money that the club is raking in and the product on the field, it doesn't match. Like, it's just not. It's not commiserate to it. And you have basically the past 2 years, or probably 3 years, 2020, 2021, 2022. That have been worse than mediocre, and that's just not acceptable. Like, it's a level of mediocrity that, unfortunately, is matching the levels of the Hawks and Falcons, and that's if we're talking about sports totality. Philly doing quite well in a lot of the sports. Also, maybe. A lot of pain too. Yeah, a lot of crap in the bed at the last moment, maybe. But it is, I totally feel that. Like, Atlanta fans definitely know how you feel.
Well, you know what's cool is that like right now in Philly, right? So like the main enemies are Jordan Alvarez from the World Series, Juju Smith-Schuster from the Super Bowl, and then Gareth Bale. Like there's some Philadelphians who know about Gareth Bale who maybe 5 years ago didn't know the brilliance that was Gareth Bale. So that's kind of the cool part about AJ. Some
Yeah,
of them do know Gareth Bale now. So
well, Gareth Bale. I mean, I respect Gareth Bale, but he's a former Tottenham player, and yeah, no,
we talk about that. Yes. Yeah. So I'm actually wearing my Everton kit for AJ because we had this conversation yesterday. So I decided I gotta pop on the Everton here today, show a little promo.
Yeah.
But AJ, I want you to put on your sporting director hat, right? I think you're very knowledgeable, and I do this all the time, especially with the Sixers right now. Like, what would you do if you were in charge of with this roster, with this team, with this personnel? What would you do to change things up if you would?
Yeah. I mean, I'm no way going to pretend that I am qualified for it, but my armchair analysis says that, yeah, bringing in a top level number 8, a box to box midfielder that can also score, will definitely, kind of help a lot of the aspects that we're deficient at, but also connect the lines, because there are a lot of times where we're trying to play through the midfield and we just get bossed by most teams, even poor teams, because we're just that bad. We have to bypass to be effective sometimes in our best moments. But yeah, a lot of times right now we're trying to play through the middle, and it's just very passive, very U-shaped type of passing. So a box-to-box midfielder that's a DP level probably is the number one move I would make. And this is to say that, okay, we're going to keep all the other players that are on the team right now because I can't predict for that. That's that's too much to account for. But I would say, yeah, Braguzan, it's probably time. We probably need to bring someone that, at the very least, is a good shot stopper. If we were talking about good on the feet as well, we're probably talking about a player that isn't going to be long for MLS. So, at the very least, minimum, we need a good shot stopper. And
not to interrupt you real quick, but didn't you guys sell on a kid from the A2 to Watford?
Yeah, so not Watford, but Norwich City. And so,
Norwich.
There
gotcha.
was. So, yeah, that player, had some promise. He never really got a chance at Atlanta United, the first team. So we don't truly know how good he really can be. But obviously, he's in the championship, and so at least he's good enough for that. I mean, we saw Josh Sargent kind of be at that level, and so that's at least probably, it's hard to equate the leagues and whatnot, but I would say it's probably at the same or if not better. So if he is going to be a backup, that's still at the very least, like, we missed an opportunity probably. But still, goalkeepers, they age more gracefully. It takes a little longer for them to really become top level. So, a young goalkeeper, I'm not exactly the most fussed, but it would have been free. I mean, he was in our academy since he was in the U13s. So in that aspect, it's like, it's probably we missed a trick here, because I don't know why we didn't ever try, with Vicente Reyes.
And not everyone gets lucky like New England, man, where it's Matt Turner and then Petrovic, so it's that's some luck, man. That is some serious luck there, man.
Or Slovenia with Chicago Fire. It's just like, stuff like that, right?
Bro, man. So I know you guys have been dealing with some injuries, and that's been the big issue as well. What are we looking at here as far as missing against Philly on Sunday?
Yeah, so probably not too many, I guess, kind of automatic starters. Eric Lopez is one of them. Miles Robinson, he's away on international duty, so he was going to miss out anyway. And Santiago Sosa has gotten back into training, and we haven't really kind of played him too much this season. So it's mostly everyone is healthy / they're away on international duty. You have Ajani Fortune, and you also have Derek Etienne, who I would imagine aren't going to start. So yeah, the automatic starters, I think it's probably going to be very similar to what we threw out last match against New York Red Bulls, which scares me because we lost 4-0. And if you guys press us, we could be in for a world of hurt.
That is, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not a recipe for success. That's for sure, man.
Yeah.
So what could the tactics even look like Sunday, man? Like what do you think the game plan would be?
I mean, well, at home, at the Benz, it's a little bit different. We have to show off for the fans. So yeah, I mean, if you guys do press us, I mean, I don't know. There have been times where, like I mentioned before, if we play the early ball, if we play the ball over the top, and kind of, just bypass our midfield, I think we can have some success, some joy, and I think in that aspect, that's how we do need to play here. Because that diamond midfield, we're going to be outnumbered, and I think at some point we probably do need to shift one of our fullbacks so that we can actually at least match the numbers in midfield or something. But has Gonzalo Pineda shown the ability to adjust in game or show different types of tactics? No. So, that's pretty much, I mean, sans last match where he put on a second striker and we still lost 4-0. So, wasn't really effective. Not really a great tactician so far, I would say, Gonzalo Pineda.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that last night. We'll talk about this in a little bit, but with Damian Lowe away on international duty, more than likely the diamond does come into play here against Atlanta again. So that's definitely going to be a matchup I will definitely be looking forward to. But I'll say this, man, like there are times where, especially in the regular season, you catch Ellie or Glez slipping. Two matches ago against Orlando, Duncan McGuire, which I'm sure you know very well. He had a great play. I give him credit. Great play, heads up, worked his ass off on that type of goal against and beat Glezis, which is very hard to do. So it's definitely possible. So that's definitely something to keep an eye out for. So that being said, what could this lineup look like for Atlanta? Come Sunday afternoon. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we talked about it on our show, about the Sunday afternoon game. But we'll leave it that rant for that. But
go watch that episode.
Yeah. But the lineup, Guzan, he's gonna be between the sticks. There's no other way around that. But fullbacks, Brooks Lennon, Andrew Gutman. Although Andrew Gutman probably is a little susceptible right now. He's been a little bit in the aspect of switching off on defense, but in attack, he's been someone that's been bringing us forward. But
he scored a goal against us last season in Chester, I believe.
Yes, he did.
Got all the way up there.
Oh yeah, exactly. A little diving header, I believe. But it's just he has an eye for goal. He has an eye for arriving late in attack and combining well with Thiago Almada. But there are times where just that momentary kind of moment of madness, and it's possible with him. And of course, aforementioned Miles Robinson not available. So Parata shifts over to the right center back position, and Luis Abram is at the left center back position. Luis Abram, stat wise, not too many starts, but not looking the best either. A little susceptible, and so Miles Robinson is a huge miss, and so should be good news for you guys. Huge opportunity for you guys to score big. But midfield as well, Ibarra has pretty much been our best defensive midfielder, so I expect him to pretty much be the starter there after this week plus rest. And then man, I want a Johnny Fortune to be able to start. He's been our most dynamic midfielder in terms of the crop. But I have a feeling that Pineda is going to choose Matias Rossetto, who's been just a pass back merchant. And that's about all I can really say about him. That's about his best attribute, really. I'm roasting our guys right now. I feel kind of bad, but I don't. But
Dude, this is like weird to hear, man. Like,
yeah,
dude, you guys were just full of dogs. You guys used to have a
yeah,
bunch of dogs in that starting 11, man. It's
right.
crazy how much it's changed, man.
It has
Jesus.
changed. It has changed a good bit. Yeah,
That
yeah.
is
You look
wow.
inside them, and it's possibly hollow. But anyway, the wingers. That's probably our one of our best parts right now.
Okay.
So Tyler Wolf, Caleb Wiley, young energy, lots of movement, lots of good work rate defensively and in attack. And so, yeah, there are a couple players that's willing to make that run in behind, willing to make that lung busting run to get that tap in. So yeah, those guys as the traditional wingers are going to be the starters, I think. And then of course Thiago Almada in the middle, number 10 position, and then Yorgos Yakumakis at the striker position. So yeah, I mean, I think there are some goals in this match, but ultimately, what can happen? We'll find out.
For Yakumakis, I have to ask about this because our co-host Zach Basso absolutely loves himself some of the Atlantic Greek freak here. But so what makes him so dangerous, man? What makes him so good?
Yeah, I mean he's a unit for one, for sure, and he's a guy that hold up play really, really fantastic. He's a guy who will battle the center backs and he will dole out some punishment. That's for sure. And
fun,
yeah, exactly. And in that sense too, he's very clinical. I mean, he doesn't need too many chances, and yeah, he's got a variety of ways that he can score. Right foot, left foot, header, outside the box, inside the box, poaching. Like he's pretty complete for MLS, and yeah, a lot of fans are learning to love him. And he's got that kind of Joseph Martinez mentality where he's got that swagger. He's just furious when he doesn't score. He wills the team from the front, presses really well too. I mean, I think his one flaw is that he's a little yellow card heavy, and he will go in for that revenge tackle or revenge foul. And
it should be interesting against Philly too, man. There's always there's bound to be some type of bad blood going on Sunday.
Oh yeah, especially it's
Rojo Martinez especially.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jose Martinez. Yeah, like when he comes to the Bends, it's like he's on his worst behavior.
Because he knows that's the house that Yosef built, so he's like, "Well, I'm the Venezuelan now."
Yeah, exactly right, exactly.
Let's get that prediction real quick, AJ.
All right, so like I said, I think there's gonna be a lot of goals, and I think it's gonna be 2-2. I mean, we're a team that is susceptible to being scored on. We also score a good bit, and even if we get scored on early, we still generally come back. Sans Red Bulls. That's just we never do well at Red Bull Arena. But I think it's gonna be 2-2, and I'll take that. I'll take that right now.
Absolutely, man. And before we let you go, any comment on the ATL United reunion in Miami? Maybe Miguel Minon coming on the way. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. No. That would be a thing. Tata Martino and Joseph Martinez. Man, there's
a lot of pressure down in Miami. The expectations have just gone from here to like
right. And mind you, where they are right now, they're in 14th, and they're kind of the laughingstock right now. But they have a world beater coming in, and
literally the GOAT.
Yeah, exactly. And the GOAT of goats, and then Tata Martino, who is no slouch in MLS. He's a winner. He does the business. He knows how to win in this league, and I mean, it's gonna be annoying. It's gonna be
that first match, both of them together in the oh my god.
Yeah, I lament it because I really wish that Tata Martino maybe went to a West Coast team or something, but. Man, the fact that we have to see him, well, I think this is the one caveat, is that Tata Martino doesn't stay at places very long. So, 1 or 2 years, 2 years probably. I'd be okay with that, and he could just ride off to the sunset, and I would just kind of have still harbor good thoughts, hopefully, of Dr. Martino, and maybe hopefully he doesn't shithouse us or just pull a lot of I don't know how much I can cuss on here, but
Go at it, man. Go at
okay.
it, AJ.
All right. But how much fuckery he's gonna pull, because Tata Martino, he can be a nasty dude, and I mean hopefully he just has still that respect for Atlanta, and just won't disrespect us too hard. Because Joseph Martinez, man, like when he scored against us, I mean, it wasn't like a full-on celebration. He said it was like a tribute, but I mean, some Atlanta United fans were salty.
Yeah, man. Come on, man. It's a competition. It's a competition. But hey, man, it is what it is. Hey, listen, man, AJ, we always appreciate having Late Night Fan TV on here. Thank you so much, man, especially for the insight as well. Let the people know where they can find Late Night Fan TV. Awesome,
man. Yeah. And really appreciate you as always for having me on. You can find us at Atlanta United Fan TV, written out on Instagram, ATLUTD Fan TV on Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, name it, podcasts. Find us there. 5 Sharp Weekly. Vamos. I love it, man. I love it. AJ, appreciate you as always. Make sure you guys check him out. And as always, DOOP. All right, that's going to do it. Thank you so much to AJ for hopping on in, give us some insight. Justin, I feel really good. I felt good going into this match. I feel even better after talking to him. There are some weaknesses with Atlanta. They're obviously missing some pieces. But this is another matchup here that kind of bodes well for Philly despite being in a tough task down in Atlanta.
Yeah, listen, going down to Atlanta is never easy. But I mean, the biggest difference is like they're conceding goals like it's their literally their jobs. And without Miles Robinson, I mean, one player should not make an entire defense, and yet like it is. And like Brooks Lennon and is good going forward, and Andrew Gutman is amazing going forward, but like they both kind of seem to forget at times that they're supposed to get back. And I know it's because they played a decent amount of midfield as well. But the whole thing, and I kept pointing, every time I kept seeing AJ pointed out, he kept saying skip the midfield. If you're trying to skip your own midfield, that's not good. If they're gonna try to ping long balls all day, you're just gonna have Jakob and Jack back off the defense and let the long balls come to them. Like if you're the defense and if you're Brujo, if you're the Shuttlers, you press higher and you allow the defense to drop in so that they're not getting beat. Like if all you're doing is trying to get beat over the top, and Derek Etienne is actually with Haiti, so that's I know, yeah, I know they keep talking about it's not no starters, but like there's not a lot going, and if they're just trying to ping balls up to Giacomakis, it's gonna be a long day. Like I don't think that's a consistent strategy if you're trying to like. There's times where you can play skip bypass the midfield, get to the attack, but that's usually bypassing the other team's midfield, not your own. And I think I think that's gonna be the key to the game is if you force Atlanta to play the small ball. I think they're gonna get pressed. I think they're gonna make mistakes, and the Union will absolutely jump down their throats and make the most of those chances.
Yeah, we just talked about how this team has had a little bit of a jolt of energy in attack, especially or just in general with Ali being back in there. And dude, I mean, I just love this matchup here. That diamond, if you get those 4 guys, Gazak, Flock, Bedoya, Martinez.
Do you think even possibly the back 3? Like, I feel like the back 3, you could possibly throw Brandon Craig in there if you're and have Olivier and Kai. Like, this kind of does feel like a moment where you could do a back 3, because if you've seen the way that they've played with the back 3, they still play pretty well defensively. and they'll have Jack as the deepest and allow Jakob to really kind of be just be able to take the ball up and really make it away with it. And listen, if you have Kai and Olivier in advanced positions and that midfield three probably be Ali, Brujo, and Gazdag, like already, like that's a pretty solid. Or say you throw Kai, back there, or you throw Matt Real, and then there's so many permutations of the back three if you wanted to. I feel like you're still probably going to have the back four, but considering the way Atlanta's been playing and the way that Union have been on the road been doing it, I think the possibility of a back three is just as likely.
Justin talking dirty to me. Brandon Craig out there. Ooh.
Listen. Jim clearly listens to the podcast because he's heard me for the past few seasons talking, and people can run back the tape. I have been talking about a back three since I've been on the podcast, and finally, it has been used to my liking. And honestly, I'm happier than a pig in shit, as they would say.
Damian Lowe was a missing piece. That's all it was, man.
God, listen, that I've been saying we could have done it with Stu last year, but we didn't. But yeah, Damian Lowe has been it's a shame how he's missing with Gold Cup, but yeah, that's been the biggest difference. And I think the back three in this game, like, people don't realize that it's a back three in possession, but a back five in defense. So that would instantly negate what they try to do with Gutman and Lennon. I think that's the thing. They try to get it through. They try to skip the midfield, launch it over the top, or go through their fullbacks. And if you shut that down, you force them to play small ball. It's not going to end well for Atlanta.
It's very true, man. All right, let's get some lineup predictions. With no Blake, obviously we're going Bendick and goal here.
Yeah. I think. Terrible. I mean, you have one game this week, and then you have 3 in the span of about 2 weeks, going on the road twice in LA on next Saturday and Nashville midweek, and then home against NYCFC, which then could go to the League's Cup break. I would love to see the back 3, but realistically, I think it's the back 4. If it is a back 3, obviously it probably would be Brandon Craig, Jakob Lesnes, and Jake Elliott. But with the back 4,
you would go Wagner because he's done that before. Wagner, Glazes, Elliott.
I think I would want to see Kai in that advanced wingback position, but it's gonna be a back 4, and it's gonna be Kai, Jakob, Elliott, and Olivier. I think that's realistically. And then
good test, man, because those fullbacks for Atlanta can get up.
They can, but also so can the Unions. Like, I think that's the thing. And the thing with Atlanta is their fullbacks don't really get back, and that's been the biggest issue with Gutman. Like, what I get, and you mentioned it in the interview with AJ. Yeah, Gutman scored, but they also got torched. We beat them pretty soundly here. Like, I think, and the draw away was like Atlanta just couldn't put anything back, and we had some solid defensive stops in the midfield. I think it's gonna be what you saw last game. It's gonna be Brujo at the base of the diamond. It's gonna be Leon on one side, Ali on the other, and Daniel at the tip of the diamond. And up top, I mean, listen, I think Carranza and Ua are definitely what you want up top. And I think with that back line, there's going to be space because of the way that the center backs have not been playing well without Robinson. And if Gutman and Lennon are caught cheating up, Gazdag is going to have space, and he's going to play either Carranza or Ua in behind. And I think that's good. That's going to spell danger. The more chances you get them in behind. I mean, listen, your front 3 at this point has over 20 goals this season. You have Carranza at 10. You have who I believe at 6 or 7. You have Gazdag about 7 or 8. Like you already have more than 12. You have almost getting close to 30 goals, and you're halfway through the season. Like that's just. And I think last year they contributed for just around like 40. Like 45. I think was it 22, like 13 and like 15 and 13, something like that. So like at this point you're about halfway to that number ish. I think there's no reason why the way that they're playing they can't get to that. And
Yeah,
it's going to be a tough game. The road games, especially in Atlanta, have always been tough. But over the last few years, it has started to change, and I think. While the Benz is going to be popping, it is absolutely going to be popping, and it is a great atmosphere.
yeah.
I think it's been less scary with the play of the team
Because you can beat them. You can beat them in the Benz, and so that's kind of how it's going away. And Justin will be in attendance, so that's always special as well. So Justin in the Benz. But let's get that prediction. What do you think will be the final score?
I don't think there's gonna be as many goals as AJ said. I think it's gonna be a tight one. But I think the key is gonna be forcing Atlanta to play through the midfield, which is what they clearly don't feel comfortable with. I think the Union have a good job of pressing. I think they are going to find those holes. They're going to find the spaces in behind when Lennon and Gutman are pressing high. And I think it's gonna be a long day for the Atlanta back line. I think the Union go into the ATL and give the 5 stripes an L, and I think it's gonna be a 2-1 Union victory.
It's going to be a fun one, man. I'm excited. I think that the Union can handle this kind of like the way the Miami one. Just force Atlanta into those mistakes and capitalize. And you should be able to take care of business against Atlanta. But Justin, my friend, you safe travels down there. Enjoy your time. Get some wings from some gas station. Just get the wings, man.
I will. So one of the nice things is my friend Dane, who I stay with, is very adept at using a smoker, and I do believe brisket is on the menu. And he did make brisket last year, and it was phenomenal. And he also is a home brewer, so there'll be some good beer.
Oh, dude, you're
so. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun weekend. I am.
Easy flight. It's not a long one.
Oh no, it's not too bad at all. So I can't complain too much. But
airport's pretty to get to navigate through, man. It should be a blast, man. We'll be live vicariously through Justin this weekend. But yeah, if you guys are going down there, make sure you guys say hello to Justin and represent for Philadelphia.
Listen. I will be at the Atlanta tailgate. Unfortunately, it is not at the Gulch this year. I've seen, which I am disappointed because that was a fun time. But yeah, listen, you'll see me in a Union kit. It's hard to miss this bald head. I will have my prescription sunglasses on and probably walk around with a solid drink in hand and water, of course, because. If you're going to the game, it is going to be in the 90s down in Atlanta this weekend. It is going to be a hot one. So it is you can still have fun and still have some drinks, but also
stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated, you thirsty bitches.
Absolutely. All right, guys, it's gonna do it for this edition of DOOP by the River. Really do appreciate AJ for helping us out. Of course, thank you guys for tuning on in as well. Make sure you guys hit that like button here on YouTube. Subscribe for all your future viewings of DOOP by the River. We are also where we stream podcasts, so subscribe there as well. Find us on DOOP by the River podcast. Follow us here on Twitter. And until next time, I go by the name El Parcero Philly. That is Justin Commissioner Podcast Pick Friedberg. And we're telling you guys